jungle.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Aina Hanisah binti Muhammad HAZAR, and now I will start the presentation with the introduction of South Korea. A nation called South Korea, located in Eastern Asia, takes up most of the southern half of the Korean peninsula. It shares boundaries with North Korea, the Yellow Sea, and the Sea of Japan. The majority of South Korea's geography is mountainous. Korea is a mountainous peninsula surrounded by the sea on three sides. It shares its northern borders with China and Russia, and its closest north-southern neighbor is Japan, which lies across a narrow strait. The Korean peninsula measures approximately 600 miles from its northern tip to its southern end.
Assalamualaikum, my name is SYAIRAH binti AZIZ. Next, let me present the history of Korean currency. The first coin were created during the Goryeo period, which is when Korean currency first appeared. The bronze and iron coin were referred to as Tongbo and Chumpo. The Goryeo elite also frequently used and exchanged silver vessels known as ambion as money. After the devaluation of the won was reintroduced as South Korean currency on 10 June 1962. It stayed so until 24 December 1997 when it became a floating currency, but was then immediately devalued at nearly half of its value because of the East Asian financial crisis.
Assalamualaikum, my name is HUMAIRA binti Muhammad KHAIRUL. I will present about the major import and export. The major product imported by Korea are crude petroleum, integrated circuit, photolab equipment and inorganic salts. While the major export are refined petroleum, motor vehicle parts and accessory, passenger and cargo ship, and office machine parts. Now we proceed to theoretical literature. In 1948, with the end of the US military government, South Korea declared its independence from Japan as the Republic of Korea. In 1952, when Japan approved the independence of the Korean region under the San Francisco Peace Treaty, it became a completely independent and sovereign nation under international law.
Next, I will start by presenting about the three factors that affecting the Korean won, which are inflation, GDP, and official exchange rate. Firstly, I will start with the inflation rate. South Korea inflation rate for 2019 was 0.38%, a 1.09% decline from 2018, and South Korea inflation rate for 2018 was 1.48%, a 0.47% decline from 2017. South Korea faces growing inflationary pressure as crude oil and other commodity prices rose due to pandemic coronavirus and the protracted war between Russia and Ukraine. Next is the gross domestic product. Gross domestic product is the total monetary or market value of all the finished goods and services produced within a country's borders in a specific time period. An increase in your real GDP interpreted as a sign that the economy is doing well. When real GDP is strongly growing, employment is likely to be increasing as companies hire more workers for their factories and people have more money in their pockets. In 2021, services contributed around 56.98% to South Korea's gross domestic product GDP, while 32.45% came from South Korea in the sector, and a little less than 2% of South Korea's GDP was generated by the country's agriculture sector. Next is official exchange rate. Official exchange rate refers to the exchange rate determined by national authorities or to the rate determined in the legally sanctioned exchange market. It is calculated as an annual average based on monthly averages, local currency units relative to the US dollar. South Korea exchange rate against USD averaged to 1,327.480 USD Korean won in May 2023 compared with 1,322.057 in USD Korean won in the previous months.
For descriptive statistics, it shows that official exchange rate has the higher mean and standard deviation, where 1060.30 and 196.82 respectively. Meanwhile, the lower mean is current account balance 2.03 and lower standard deviation is inflation 2.19. The data is important because it can help researchers make decisions.
Correlation is a statistical measure that expresses the extent to which two variables are linearly related. If both variables tend to increase or decrease, together the coefficient is positive, and the line that represents the correlation slopes upward. The increases in GDP growth and interest rate will affect Korean won to increase. Meanwhile, The inflation rate and the current account balance has negative correlation related to the exchange rate.
Then we proceed to multiple regression. The first one is model summary. The value for R square is 0.699. It means that approximately 69.9% of the exchange rate of Korean won is explained by the inflation, GDP growth, real interest rate, and current account balance. Then the value for adjusted R square is equal to 0.655. It shows that 65.5% of the variation exchange rate variability. The dependent variable is slightly explained by the independent variable. The next one is coefficient. The significance of the figure suggests that the official exchange rate have a considerable positive influence on the exchange rate. Hence, the null hypothesis is disproved and the alternative hypothesis is accepted. The null hypothesis is accepted despite the fact that GDP growth, inflation, real interest rate, current account balance have little impact on the exchange rate. The last one is ANOVA. The p-value for the F-test is equal to 4.785, which is more than the level of significance 0.05. Therefore, the null hypothesis is accepted. Means that the GDP growth, inflation, real interest rate, and current account balance is not significant in explaining the variation in the exchange rate of Korean won.
In the summary, the determination of exchange rate in international financial market is based on the supply and demand between foreign exchange and the local currency. The supply of foreign exchange is determined by the current and capital account balance. In the world at the late 18th, when the capital market was not liberalized, the current account determined the supply of foreign exchange.
Time is over.